Hello everyone. I'm so glad you've joined me today. I love sharing my ideas with you and I hope I inspire you with today's creation. For my cards this week, I'm going to focus on the Bloom and Grow stamp set. I have a feeling this set's going to go and I really like it and I haven't used it much. So I've come up with a couple of different ways to color it to give you some ideas. And I'm also using the Budding Blooms dies. They coordinate with it and cut them out. Here's the card we're going to make today. Oh my gosh, I had so much fun with this technique. I used my watercolor pencils as pencils and it was just so much fun to do. So let's get started and I'll show you how. Now I have to tell you, if you're the person who likes to be in the know and get the information first, my newsletters customers get that information about my classes first. So make sure you sign up. And let's get started with making today's card. And I stamped my image using Memento black, excuse me. And since I'm not going to watercolor it, I'm just going to color it with pencils, it was fine. I went looking in the pencils that I have, and these are the older ones. They don't have names on them, so this is set 1. I'm not certain what they are. I just kind of picked and choose which ones I wanted. So I'm going to start with this one. And I will tell you the key to this is having a sharp point as possible or you'll be pushing really hard. And this one is not as sharp as it should be. And then I did this one up here. So yeah, I grouped them with mini rubber bands so I would know which ones I had used for each, because I didn't want to go looking again. All right, then I'm going to take the light one and I'm going to color it here. So I'm just coloring them in. And then this one is with this one also. So it's just like using a crayon, colored pencil, whatever you want to say. And then for my last one, because I wanted some variety in my leaves, I used this color and I colored the ones down here. Now this one is almost a turquoisey green, but leaves are in all colors, so that's why I did it this way. And again, remember, sharper the point, the better. All right, so now that I have my leaves colored in, I'm going to do my flowers. And again, I use the ones from the set 1. I'm going to color it in. The yellow is the hardest because it is so light. I actually colored it in and then went back over it a couple of times. And you can see if there's a point, you get a darker yellow. So let me color this one in. And then I wanted some fun, bright colors. It's been drab for too long. I'm ready for some bright spring colors. The daffodils are gorgeous and I just love it. Now what I did do was, and I'm going to try and do it in here, is I made the center a little darker to give it some interest. You don't really see it on the yellow, but you do on the other colors. All right, so I'm going to take my orange. I tried to think of what colors you might see. I know we see daffodils on our walk in the morning, so yellow was a color I chose. There's a pink tree that's budding now. I don't know the names of these things. And I will tell you, when you're coloring these with your pencils, do circular motions, and then I'm going to go back And I'm going to press harder in that center to make it a little darker. But the circular motion in there, you don't get the lines, and I'll show you. All right, there's one going that way, and here's one where I do in circles. And you can kind of see when I start to move over, you'll see lines. So that's the reason why the circles are better. All right, I'm gonna twist my pencil. I find I twist my pencil every once in a while to get a nice sharp point. And then I'm gonna go in the center, and I'm gonna go darker in there, just for some interest. And there it is. And now what I'm going to take and do is, so I'm going to take those coordinating dies and I'm going to cut this out. All right, I've got it cut out, and now it's time to put our card together. All right, I started with a piece of daffodil, and it needed some interest, so I pulled out the little, I don't know, little flowers. They reminded me of the flowers on here, so that's why I used them. And I'm going to stamp that all over just for some interest. All right, so I've got that stamped. Just be careful. You need to turn your paper or your stamp, and I didn't, so I've got some bare spots. Now I'm going to take my Granny Apple Green and the coordinating ink, and I'm going to stamp the leaves all over the back. And I'm just going to kind of twist and turn this also. And I want to make sure I get the edges so that I have it, especially the edges, because that's what's going to show once you put your card together. All right, got that done. Now, I have stamped all over this without anything behind it, so I have ink on here. So I'm going to take and clean that off, because if not, I'm going to get it on my white card base. All right, now my background is real red, and I used the Tasteful Textile Embossing folder and embossed it. And I'm going to put that on a white card base. Hopefully I have no ink on my hands. I'm going to use my bone folder here. Because this is embossed, I'm going to use my my double-sided tape to put this on, because I want to make sure it stays stuck down. And I think I like this side better. I always look at it to see. One side to me has more embossing and definition to it, and the other one is okay. So it doesn't, I don't think it really matters. It's just personal preference. So you can choose the one you want. And I'm going to go all the way around the edge with this so that it stays stuck down. And I'm using my yucky scissors for cutting because they get gummed up with this double-sided tape. And it's easy to clean these. I don't want to use things on my good scissors that might mess them up. Now I'm going to burnish the ends in, so make sure you do that so that it doesn't pull away from your embossing when you go to take your backing off. I've done that many a time. And let's see. Almost one more, and then it's just a matter of putting all our layers on. All right, so I'm going to put this on here like so. Now this one, because I put it together like this and I was looking at it and I was going, can't pick it up. It missed something. So I decided to pull in the white baker's twine, and I have some of the old twine left. So if you have some of it left and you get those kinks, just curl it like ribbon and the kinks will go away. Sometimes you have to do it twice and they're not as bad. Now to do my bow, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give myself a tail longer than I normally would use. But I'm going to tie a knot. All right, like so. I'm going to try to tie it to the side. I'm going to hold it and I'm going to do a double knot. Reason being, it just stays tighter that way. I think I'm going to do a double knot. There it is, it's through. All right, now I'm going to get this back up here and adjust it some. I'm going to pull it tight, hold it in place, and now I'll pull my ends and I'm pulling them north to south. All right, and then I'm going to make my loop, pull it over, make my bow, and I'm pulling it east to west, and then I'm holding it to get a tiny bow like so. And there it is. And now I need my scissors to cut the ends. Oops. I didn't cut that one very good. And there we have it. Now this is going to go on with some glue. And if you get it to the point where your ribbon or your twine isn't tight, pull it on the back and add some double-sided tape and you're fine. Now watch your spacing, top and side. Try to have it as even as possible. This is going to go on with dimensionals because you know me, I like my dimensionals. All right, so I've got that. And I've got a bunch over here cut, so it's just a matter of putting them on. Oops, that back came off.